Synthetic division is a quick and efficient way to divide a polynomial by a binomial in the form of x minus b. It is firstly important to know when to use synthetic division over long division. If the binomial you are dividing by has a 1 in front of the x and is being added or subtracted to a number, synthetic division is a good option. For example, if it's x minus 4 or x plus 6, synthetic division works really well. If the binomial you are dividing by has a coefficient higher than 1 and the degree is higher than 1, then long division is a better option. For example, if it's 2x minus 3 or if it's x squared minus 3, then long division is the better option. Next, you must look at your polynomial, also known as your dividend, and arrange the terms in descending order of degree. For example, in this equation, your x to the 3 and your 4x are not beside each other, so we have to move those. 3x cubed plus 4x minus 1. Afterwards, you must make sure that there are no missing powers in the dividend. For example, x squared is missing. When a term is missing, you must add the missing term with a coefficient of 0. For example, we're missing x squared, so we're going to put 0, x squared. In this case, our divisor is x minus 3, but just like our dividend, our divisor must be organized in descending order of degree and must fill in any missing terms with a coefficient of 0. In order to determine the divisor, you must find the 0 of the binomial. For example, our binomial is x minus 3, set it to 0, and solve for x. In this case, the 0 you would use for your synthetic division is 3. Now you have determined the proper divisor and the dividend, and now you're ready to begin synthetic division. Now you're going to start your synthetic division table. In order to do this, you want to draw one straight vertical line on your paper. Then you want to draw a horizontal line making a T at the bottom left. In this, at the top, you want to write your dividend. But in order to do this, you need to take the coefficient of each term and place it on the top row of your horizontal line. In this case, it would be 3, 0, 4, and negative 1. Now you're going to take your divisor and you're going to place it on the top left corner of your table. Make sure to keep in mind that this is the 0 of the binomial. In the bottom left corner in this little table, you need a multiplication symbol. In the bottom right corner, you need an addition symbol, which both will be used in order to solve synthetic division. First step in solving synthetic division is to draw an arrow down from your first coefficient and bringing it down to the bottom of the table. You now take your 0 of the binomial, which is 3, and you're going to multiply it by the 3 that you just brought down, which in this case is 9. Now you're going to take your second coefficient that we have placed at the top of the table, and you're going to add it to the 9 that we just got. And now you're going to do the same thing with this number. So you're going to take the 3 and you're going to multiply it by 9 to get 27. And you're going to place it under the third coefficient. And now 27 plus 4, which gives us 31. And you're going to multiply 3 by 31, which gives us 9. And then negative 1 plus 93, which gives us a remainder of 92. We have now solved for our quotient. In this case, we need to start labeling each number that we have just gotten. The 3 in this case is going to be 1 less degree than the original term. In this case, it would be x squared. You now go in descending order of degrees. So this would be x. Once you get to a degree of 1, which is just x, you need to label the next one number, and then the last one your remainder. Now that you have solved your quotient, you now need to write it in two different ways. You can either write it in multiplication form or quotient form, which I'll show you later. Multiplication form is written by starting with your dividend from the beginning, and you can forget about this 0 when you're writing your answer. So we would just go straight into 4x minus 1, and then you want to put an equal sign, and then you want to put a bracket around your binomial, which was initially x minus 3, so that's what we're going to place. And then we're going to multiply that binomial by our quotient, which is 3x squared plus 9x plus our constant, which is 31. And then outside of that bracket, we want to put a plus and then our remainder. The second way of doing this is in quotient form. This form, we start with our dividend, just like we did in the last one, and forget about the 0. 3x cubed plus 4x minus 1. And we want to divide it by our divisor, which was in the beginning, again, the binomial x minus 3, equals our new quotient, which is 3x squared plus 9x plus 31. And now we don't put a bracket around it, we're going to add the remainder and divide it again by our binomial. Now that we've practiced synthetic division, we're going to try one together. In this case, it is not missing any powers, but it is not in descending order. So we must change our dividend to create it to be in descending order. In this case, it would be 2x squared minus 7x plus 18. Now that we have the correct dividend, we need to look at our binomial, and we need to solve for the 0. In this case, x plus 2 would create x to equal negative 2. So now we have our divisor and our dividend, so we can create our synthetic table. Same thing as we did before. We are going to put our divisor in the top left corner, and we are going to put the coefficients of the dividend at the top of the table. Then we need our multiplication symbol and our addition symbol to solve for the equation. We're going to start by bringing down the 2, the first coefficient, and we're going to multiply our divisor by the coefficient that we just brought down, which gives us negative 4. Now we have negative 7 plus negative 4, which means negative 7 minus 4. So we're going to bring down our number, which is negative 11, and we're going to do negative 2 times negative 11, which gives us positive 22. And then 18 plus 22, which is 40, so we're going to bring our remainder down. And now we need to label each of the coefficients of the quotient we have just received. So in this case, 1 less degree of the original term would be x. After that, we put number, and we have a remainder. First, we have multiplication form, which we already know that we have to do this in descending order, which is our dividend from the original, and we have to write that out. 2x squared minus 7x plus 18, and then equals our divisor from the beginning, which is x plus 2 in brackets, multiplied by our new quotient, which is 2x minus 11, which is our constant, and then plus our remainder. We must do quotient form. In this case, we start with the dividend again from the original, which is 2x squared minus 7x for descending order, plus our constant, which is 18. And then we divide that by our divisor from the original, which is x plus 2, equals our quotient, which is 2x minus 11, plus our remainder and our constants in there, and then we divide the remainder by our first binomial, which is x plus 2. Now you have all the tools you need to perform synthetic on your own.
Thanks for watching!